Right. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. So today I am speaking with the amazing Cory Byrd. Cory, I got to do full disclosure here to everybody who's watching and listening. Cory is my cousin. His dad is my mom's little brother, and he's in Chicago and I'm in New York, and we rarely get to see each other. So I'm excited how social media has definitely brought us a lot closer together before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and now. So we're gonna jump right into it. And I wanted to, because my husband, he's an avid comic book collector.
Mm,
He was excited to see
great.
this. So when I told him I was going to talk to him, he's mad he wasn't going to be here. So, but he did give me his questions first. So I'm going to ask
Oh,
his
wow.
questions first before
All
I
right.
get to my own. So he
Okay.
wanted to know, how did you get started um, in this type of art as opposed to other types of art? Because you do comics, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Well, I grew up reading comics. My older brother Chris, uh, he used to collect them, and I used to borrow them from him. I had to write down. It was like renting it. I had to like write down that I was taking this book out and stuff like that. And I would just sit in my room and read and look at the pictures. And then I started drawing from the comic, like actually, drawing my favorite poses and characters and stuff like that. And then as I went through high school and everything like that, I started like creating my own characters
Wow.
and acting them out in my living room. I used to just kind of act them out like it was my own cartoon show or something like that. Actually, I was a little bit younger when I started doing that, but then I really started establishing more of my own characters and stuff like that while I was in high school. And then it kind of led to another comic book series that I did in early late stages of college called The Shadow Knight that I published a couple years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I published two, no, three issues. I published three issues of that under a group of friends and stuff like that, presented at conventions and so forth. And then that kind of like faded out. And then I went through a whole hiatus and stuff like that. I was just doing drawings here and there. I would do like, you know, what we call fan favorite comics and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. I would just
Mm-hmm.
do like characters here and there and stuff like that. But nothing like comic book form for me.
Wow.
So yeah, so I know it's kind of a long story. I'm sorry I had to keep
That's
going
all
on.
right.
So when I met my wife in college, her mother had four cats in her house, and each cat had distinct personalities. And I thought that was really cool. So I started drawing them as cartoon characters. At first, it started off as like just comedic, fun comics, and it kind of evolved into this like ninja samurai type thing. And then it just happened. It just kind of happened, and I did a 5-page drawing of you know the intro, what you might see in the intro of the first issue. The first 5 pages, yes, that the first
Yeah, he
five
got it. He
pages.
got it all protected, and he didn't
Yeah,
want to
that's
give it to
great.
me when I told him I was talking to. I said, "But I need the comic book because I read through it when I first got it."
Yeah, yeah.
He got it sealed up. Told me I couldn't take it out the package, and I was like, "Fine."
Did I sign yours?
I don't think so. Maybe the
I
next one I
thought I
just
did.
ordered.
Well, I signed the second one, so I'm going to be sending it out soon to you.
Okay.
Uh, so the first 5 pages of that issue was something I had done years ago, and it was just sitting around. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to establish this. I'm going to do more with this. So I redrew those first 5 pages, and it kind of went into a whole story and everything. So that's where we are
Wow.
today.
So how
Yeah.
long was the process from because this I have this is Tooth and Nail issue
Mhm,
one, Bird's Eye View
mhm.
Comics. So
Yep.
how long was the process from pen to publishing? How long was that?
Probably about a year, because I'm doing everything myself. So I'm drawing, I'm inking, I'm doing the
Wow.
lettering, writing. I put together logos and everything like that. The only logo that was done by a friend of mine was the actual tooth and nail logo, but the bird's eye
Okay.
view logo I did myself.
Nice.
But everything pretty much in that first issue was all me. First and second issue was all me. So it took about a year. I was working on it on and off and everything. And then I just finally finished it up. I started putting it together. I got a program, perfect. My friend introduced me to a program that was perfect for me to do the lettering and bringing that stuff and clean stuff up. And I was just like, praise the Lord, because
So you're pretty
I
much
needed.
self-taught. This is not something you went to school for like illustration or anything.
I did. I
Oh,
did. I went to Columbia College Chicago and got my degree. I skipped that part. I don't know why. I skipped that.
okay.
But yeah, I went to Columbia College Chicago, went through my 4-year degree in art and design,
Okay.
and learned some techniques from that. They didn't have a comic book classes or anything like that, but I took a lot of what they taught me and transferred it to what I was doing. They came up with comic book classes after I graduated. So
Of
like,
course, but
great. But they got for like social media, YouTube and stuff like that. I go on there and I look at my favorite artists and learn a lot of techniques from them. And that's how I try to improve each issue. So when you see the second issue, it's going to be a little bit different from the first one because I've learned a lot of new techniques and a lot of new things.
Okay.
And a lot of stuff in the program that I'm working with that I didn't know I had. And so now I'm like implementing all of that stuff in. So yeah, that's pretty much the story of Tooth and Nail so far.
Nice. So will there, because this is the first issue, right?
Mhm.
I have the first issue. I just ordered
Yep.
the second. Will there
Yep.
be a third?
Absolutely. It's going to be a whole series.
Nice.
The second issues are, I'll be obviously already done. I'll be sending that to you soon. The third issue is in progress. I've drawn up to 4 pages. My son has helped me write that one to kind of like take the load off a little bit and get a little bit more of a creative outside of myself so he can see things that I didn't see. And he did. He actually pointed out a lot of things that he wasn't sure where I was going. And he like said, hey, why don't you flesh this out more? Why don't you do this a little bit more?
Hey,
And I was
how
like,
old is
yeah,
he?
you're right. He's 19.
Okay.
He's 19, and he's an avid comic book reader, and he's this generation of comic book readers,
Okay.
as opposed to when I was growing up. So I get another perspective of what is going on now with comics and stuff because I don't really read comics that much anymore. But I love TV shows, movies, anime, manga, all that stuff.
Okay.
My biggest inspiration is from manga, which is Japanese comic books.
Okay. I was gonna
Um,
ask if it was manga or Marvel or DC or which one was it?
Yeah, more manga than anything. I love the Marvel stuff and stuff like that, but this isn't like really superhero-ish.
Right.
It's more on the lines of like character-driven and
Okay.
these not that the Marvel stuff isn't, but the style in which I'm doing it is mostly manga implemented with of course a little bit of more of American style because I'm not from Japan. Because Japan's storytelling is very embedded into their culture.
Right.
So it's like I don't know that culture that well. I know from what I read and what I see, but I don't live that culture. So I
Right.
can't really put everything I can into that. So I try to do as much as of the Japanese style, but not too much that I'm kind of like trying to implement myself into that culture because I have a friend in Japan, he tells me stuff, but you have to really live that in order for it to be able to convey it correctly.
That is so very, very true.
Yeah.
Now, as for me, like my husband is a comic book collector since he
Yeah.
was a kid. And he always say to the grandkids, this is going to pay for you to go to college. If you ever sell it, it's because he's been collecting them for years.
Wow.
I, on the other hand, have always been that girl who got the comics out the paper on Sunday. Comics and to this day, I still have some. I've been collecting them over the years. Some of the ones that I thought were really funny, but I can't even draw stick figures. So to know that I have someone in my family who's so talented is really good for me.
Yeah. First of all, there's a couple of things like I always hear that people say, "Oh, I can only draw stick figures." Guess what? That's where it starts. We draw stick figures first and then flesh it out. So you begin with the stick figures and everything, then you grow, but that's up to the individual to do that.
It's funny. I interviewed another artist who does paint parties who's in Chicago, and I told her the same thing. I was like, I can barely draw a stick figure, but I've done some of her paint parties, and I'm like, at the end, I'm like, oh, okay.
I know. And a lot of my talent obviously comes first of all from God, and second of all from my dad. You know, dad was a great artist, and he taught me a lot, and he showed me a
Wow.
lot of things. He used to draw little comics of me and my brothers and stuff like that when we were little. And then, you know, he I used to draw Peanuts cartoons, Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and all of that stuff.
Those are easy
And
for
I'm still a
kids.
big, yeah, still a big Snoopy fan and everything.
We are
Uh,
too.
yeah, I'm a huge Snoopy fan. So I learned a lot from, you know, drawing stuff from that, from Charles Schulz, the creator of Peanuts, and, you know, comic books growing up and everything like that. And of course, dad implementing me and encouraging me to continue to go. He would literally take some of the drawings I did and put grades on the back of them. He said, "This is
Wow.
great. This is awesome," you know, and stuff like that. So that was very inspirational, you know. And you'll notice in the first issue in the back, I gave a shout out to dad and everything like
That is so nice.
that.
So with the Bird's Eye comic, is that just like for Tooth and Nail, or will you be publishing like for other artists, or what would you
Yeah.
be doing with that?
That's a dream come true. You know, if I can make enough money and grow and do stuff like that, that would be an absolute dream, because I really want to inspire younger artists and everything like that to do it, because I know when I was growing up, I would look at like my favorite comic book artists, or I'll look at anime and manga, and I'll be like, man, you know, can I do this? Can I create my own? Can I, you know, I really love drawing, I love creating, but can I get to this length in which they are doing? And a lot of that I teeter-totter with a lot. And it took me a while to kind of like break out of trying to compare myself to other artists and just say, you know what, I'm just going to do it. You
Right.
know, and I actually looked at a YouTube video of a established comic book artist, and he said, just do the work, just do it. You know, don't worry about if it's going to get famous or you're going to get big. Get it out, draw it, put it out there, and whatever happens, happens. Because at least it's something that you were able to craft and create
Mm-hmm.
and get out there. If it gets famous, if it blows up, great. If not, then at least you got a few people who get to see what you have done. And
Yep.
I've already got a small little fan base already, so
All
I'm really excited about that.
right.
So yeah, it's growing little by little. I'm very impatient, so I'm kind of like, come on, I want more, please. More people will say something. Oh, more people, more subscribers. And that's the problem with social media, is
Yeah.
that you constantly want to get those likes, and you constantly want those people to make comments. And when you don't get it, you kind of like, do I suck? Do people not like what I'm doing and everything like that? But that's not necessarily the case. Some people, they just don't say anything until, you know, later or something like that. So I have to like control my impulses about those type of things and just keep working. You know, it's a lot of times I say, man, do people like my stuff? Maybe I should quit. Maybe I should stop doing it. My wife is like, you better not quit. You better not quit. You put a lot of investment in this. You got great talent. You can do it.
Yeah.
And then in my heart, I'm like, I have to keep doing this. There's people counting on me. Even if it's a few people, they're counting on what I'm doing. And that is a drive like no other. And that's what really keeps me going. You know, that and the Lord of love.
That's good to hear. It's so funny because I love supporting people who are pursuing their dream and their passion, and that's why I started, these conversations in Keeney's Corner, just talking to people about what they're doing, what they like to do, and giving a voice to people who are not being called on to these talk shows or whatever yet.
Yeah.
So when they do get
Right.
them, like, okay, they started here first. So no, I definitely do love supporting people. And I was like, I couldn't not interview my cousin. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
get them
Yeah, I
on.
know it took us a little while to connect and everything, because I know there's a lot of good stuff going on.
Listen, life has been taking me on such a roller coaster, but
Yeah. Yeah.
like I said, and that's what my husband was like, if you really like talking to people and interviewing people and showcasing people, get back in there. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Let me get my people lined up here. Tell people about what you do. Come on, let me put you out there and show you the people.
Yep. And I thank you for that, because getting the exposure is really, really, really big.
Now, what is that behind
artists.
you? Because I done got into this. That's why I had asked you about this Funko craze. I done got into this Funko thing.
Oh my gosh! So you're in it too, huh?
And it's crazy because I'm a huge Lilo and Stitch fan. I
Okay.
absolutely love Lilo and Stitch. Everything Lilo and Stitch, mostly Lilo, but they mostly promote Stitch. And my daughter bought my first one. She was like, "Mom, look what I found." I was like, "Oh wow." I said, "The others?" I found another one. And
Uh-huh.
as I was fell into the rabbit hole, and I was like, "Wow, this." So just for our anniversary, my husband gave me a box full of Funko
Wow. My wife
ones.
is the same way. She got hooked and she has a ton of them. She has them upstairs. She has a ton
I
of
have to call her. I have to call her.
pop stuff.
I'm
Yeah, you're gonna have to talk to her because it's a problem.
gonna have to call her.
But then she
So
say, "What about you?" So anyway, back here, you might not. I don't know if you can see too
yeah, I
well.
can see it.
I'm a Transformers collector.
Ah,
I'm a huge
okay.
Transformer fan. And not from the current live action movies. I really hate those movies actually. But I'm old school. Like I love the old 1980s Transformers stuff and
Okay.
everything. So I have a huge collection. I try to get everything that I don't know if you can see over
I know,
there.
I can see them. They look nice. That's why I asked.
Yeah, yeah. And that's only a portion of what I got. I got some more stuff over there. I got Marvel stuff, video game
Wow.
characters, video games themselves. I got anime characters. I have a sword that I got from the convention and everything like that. But it's kind of messy in here, so I ain't gonna show you too much.
That's fine. So, question: do
Yeah.
you think that we'll probably get one of these in some type of
Oh,
figurine form?
Lord's will, yes. I I actually put a shout out on Facebook one time asking anybody to do it, and nobody responded. No surprise there. But I need I got I'm gonna more than I get established with the comic, then I'm probably because of course all of these things cost money,
Of course.
and I don't have a lot of money.
Right.
So because I'm still, I have a house, I'm married, I got kids and
Yep.
stuff like that. So it's not the easiest thing to do. But yes, down the line, that would be amazing to have figurines of my characters, video games of my characters, animation of my characters.
Nice.
I think I would just like faint for a couple hours and be in the room if
But
those things type of happen.
let me ask you a question. And I
Yeah.
was too embarrassed to ask my grandkids this, so I'm going to
Okay.
ask you. Where do you guys find anime? I don't even know where to look for that. Where do you watch that? Is it online? Like, is it YouTube, Netflix? Like, where is anime? I don't know anything about anime.
It's everywhere. Right now, like if you have a streaming platform, I don't know if you have like a TV, a smart TV, or a game system that can stream stuff. But there's Funimation, there's Crunchyroll, um, Netflix have some animes. Um, you can go online and look at all
Yeah.
those things. They used to before anime kind of blew up. You kind of had to see it through like certain like stuff people would record and then just put it on like maybe on YouTube. But then all the licensing things started happening, so a lot of that stuff got shut down. So now they have it like everywhere. Now you can like access anime pretty much anywhere, or if you
My
find
granddaughter
DVDs
is
and things.
when she was here with me, she was like, she loves anime to the point where she's studying either Korean or Japanese on the app, translator app, Google
Yeah.
Duo, not Duo, Duolingo and Babbel. She's learning the languages because she want to watch the anime without the subtitles.
Oh, okay.
So when
Oh
she
wow.
said to
She
me,
wants.
yeah, so I said okay, but I didn't want to ask where you watching it. Like, how you?
Yeah, it's on streaming services. Like some of the biggest ones are usually on streaming service. Specifically, like Funimation is a big one. Crunchyroll is a big one. And then Netflix, they have some really good ones. I haven't watched anything that much new, but it's one of my favorites. I keep watching over and over and over and over and over again. And sometimes I'll watch like when I'm working or I'm drawing, just have it in the background. Is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and that's on Netflix. So
Okay.
I'm on my fifth my fifth time watching it, and my kids come down. It's like, you watching this again? Why don't you watch something new? It's like, but I love this anime. It's my favorite anime of all time. I cannot stop watching it.
And you said game system, right? There's no game systems here.
Oh, yeah, I think we talked about that.
And you know what's so funny? One of my daughters gave my husband I think it's a PlayStation, something as a retirement gift. I had to give him the side eye. Like, what you gonna do with that? Now that he's retired, maybe once we move, I'll give him his own space for it. But I've always just been, even my students, because I teach, I mostly work with kids with special needs, behavioral, autistic, and they're so into video games. And I was just like, I'm not, Miss Murphy, you so mean. How you don't have video games in your house? I was like, first of all, there's no little kids here. Second, so when I told them, I said, my daughter's giving my husband a video game for a retirement gift. It turned into a whole lesson. So I had to do a whole class lesson on video games, and it turned to math, the add in, the divide, and how much it cost. So it was a fun lesson for them, but I was just like,
well, I'm sorry, Z. I've been playing since I was a kid, and I have not stopped. And I have every system. I have everything. I play everything. and honestly, a big part of my creative process is through games. I forgot to bring that up. I actually do have video game influences too for Tooth and Nail and stuff like that. A lot of people might just see it as like, games these days are not only for kids. There's a lot of adult content in video games now. Those are actually the top selling ones. But they're not, I mean, from my perspective, it's not only just sitting there for hours and playing. It's engulfing into this world and ingesting it. That's what I do. I kind of like.
What game did you get? I did give him a game. I bought him a football game.
Oh, okay.
We're big football fans in here, so I was fine with that.
Yeah.
But the rest of that stuff, the kids was telling me to get. I was like, they was like, okay, we know you're not gonna get this one. What about this one? What about? I was like, listen.
Yeah, I mean, I love all types. I'll play football, I'll play basketball, but my favorites is like action adventure and stuff like that. And you go into these worlds and you do these missions and stuff like that, and you get engulfed into the characters and stuff. And like I said, it's a big influence to what I've done with Tooth and Nail, to create Tooth and Nail and stuff like that.
So with your comics and stuff that you do you think you would ever like travel like to Japan or Korea or somewhere else to do some hands-on research?
You are like opening up Pandora's box of my dreams. Yes, absolutely. I actually have a friend. I told you I have a friend in Japan. He used to be in America. He went to Columbia College with me. He had to go back. He's a teacher there, and I'm still in contact with him. He's Japanese and Filipino, and he introduced me to anime. He's the one that actually not introduced me to anime, more like the TV shows, because I used to only watch like the movies and stuff for anime. But then he introduced me to a TV show called Rurouni Kenshin. And at first I was kind of taken back because the characters in some anime kind of like very androgynous characters, and I was taken back by that. And I saw it, I was like, "Is this a girl, a guy? What's going on here?" And then I started watching it, and they had a goofy intro and stuff like that. I was like, "What is going on?" And then as you keep watching it, you see the characters grow and get stronger and relationships. I fell in love. I fell in love at that point. So if I could ever like travel to Japan and maybe stay with my buddy and everything like that and walk around and so forth, I would love it. They're very, very, very critical of American storytelling and stuff like that. They love it, but they're very particular. Just put it that way, because it's really embedded to their culture. I think superheroes is embedded into our cultures too, but theirs is in a totally different way because they actually make mangas and animes about basketball and soccer and baseball and school and stuff that we don't do. We usually just do stuff about superheroes or action or something like that. But they do comic books about everything. Like I've seen stuff like about cooking, and I'm like, how do you make a comic book about cooking? And I look at it, and they just over exaggerate everything, and it's crazy. But it's just embedded into who they are. So I would love to like experience that.
My best friend, she went and spent 3 weeks in Japan, and and this was a few years ago, and she absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
So much so that we're talking about going back. But I'm not going to hold you any longer. I want to
Okay.
thank you so much. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to getting my second copy. I'm gonna have to definitely look through it before it gets signed and positioned and sealed up and put with the collection that he has.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You're more than welcome.
I'll probably mailing out your copy today or tomorrow. I was trying to give you a specialized drawing. I was trying to print it out, but my printer's all jacked up. So one day I'll send you like just a specific drawing just for you as thanks and everything.
Thank
But
you.
no problem. And tell your husband I missed him. I wish I could
No,
have
he will.
talked to him.
He will definitely, because that's the thing.
Anytime he wants to Zoom, just let me know if he wants to talk to me and
Okay,
chat with me. I would
most
love to.
definitely.
So
Say
definitely.
hello to the family, cuz.
I will, and thank you.
You're
And if
welcome.
you can send me this video, that'd be great so I can share it on my website.
Okay.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye bye.